And the winner is Brisbane! G'day, everyone, and welcome to the show formerly known as the Football Brisbane Village Law SEQFC preview show. What do we call ourselves now? We're all under the FQ banner with the new competition. So, and all the games went ahead on the weekend. So fantastic news. So hopefully it all goes sweetly. We've got guests coming out of all but one competition tonight. We'll deal with them in turn. We're going to start with Tom Connolly from Kangaroo Point Rovers. He's actually on the bench at the moment. He's in the middle of a game, but he's taken time out to say good day. Tom, hello.
Hey, Darren. How you going?
Very well, very well. I should mention Spencer's here as well. Spencer's our regular. But we'll just get this Cap 2 thing underway.
Cool.
Tom, tell us, you're on the bench of the Metro game tonight.
Yes, that's correct. Down at Talabudgera. It's about 5 or 6 degrees, so just trying to stay warm on the bench. So I thought I'd have a quick chat.
So it's KPR against Talabudgera, is it?
No. So I actually play for a club down on the Gold Coast in Metro because I live down this way.
Right. Well, that makes a lot more sense. So judging by the show, I'd say Southport, yes?
Yeah, KPR aren't. Yeah, I'm playing for Southport, but no, I'm not. KPR aren't down at Talabudgera tonight, so.
All right. But what do you do at KPR?
I'm the head coach. Yeah, head coach of the Cap 2 men's side.
Very good. So let's start tonight with Cap 2. So you had a 2-0 loss to Barden Latrobe on the weekend. Barden, the hot team of the comp.
Yeah, I think Gil's done a fantastic job, particularly probably in the last 6 to 8 weeks from last year. They've definitely improved out of sight, and they're definitely one of the form teams to watch for the rest of the season, I think. Yeah,
so 2-0 win there for Barden Latrobe. Can you tell me if the other games went ahead? Because Sporting's only showing Clairvaux 3-2 over North Brisbane, top of the table.
Yeah, that Clairvaux North Brisbane game went ahead, I believe. North Brisbane got out to a 2-0 lead, and then Clairvaux came back and won it with the last kick of the game. I think Westside got the first win of the season over Willowburn, 2-1, and I'm not too sure if the other ones. Oxley and Springfield went ahead, and I think that was 2-0 to Oxley, but I'm not sure if the other game went ahead. So a few teams getting a few big wins on the weekend.
Massive win there for Westside.
Yeah, good definitely. Stuff. First one of the year, so good for them.
Yes. All right. So let's have a look at the ladder now. And the Kangaroo Point Rovers are sitting in 7th place with 12 points.
Yeah. Not where we'd want to be at the moment. There's been a few close games in there, a few games where we didn't take our chances. But Cap 2 is a pretty even league, so hopefully in the next 5 or 6 weeks we can move our way back the ladder.
Tell us about your squad this season. Is it the same guys that you've had from the past couple of years?
No, it's actually a pretty different squad. Obviously, with COVID last year, a few people stopped playing, and obviously Kangaroo Point's a club that's benefited in the past from a lot of backpackers. So with COVID, a fair few of them have returned home. And we did lose a few boys at the start of the season to study commitments and work commitments. But it's a good squad. But, there's a lot of good squads in Cap 2. So I think we've just found ourselves behind the 8 ball a bit.
How do you go recruiting players at Raymond Park? Is it? I'm sure that there's a core that are Pineapple loyal wherever they go. But is it offcasts from the surrounding big clubs?
Yeah, so it's something like that. So obviously there's a few boys who've been there for a few years. A few Irish boys know a few boys, and that's helped us in the past. Then we are quite lucky being in inner city Brisbane. We do quite often get people who are walking on their way home from work, and they pop in and have a chat. But in terms of recruitment, we're a community club, so we don't have the ability to go out and spend the big dollars to bring in the big players or anything like that, which is what a lot of Cap 2 clubs are facing as well. There are a few who are spending a bit of money, but we're one of the ones who are relying on players to come down for the love of the game.
All right. So let's have a look at this weekend's fixtures. You're at home to Springfield United.
Yep.
Tell us about that. How are you going to approach it?
Yeah, so last time we played, Springfield went down 5-1. Thought we actually played pretty well in parts of that game. I think it was Reece Phipps up front, put 3 or 4 passes in quick succession in the second half to really kill the game when we were chasing it. They've had a few poor results the last few weeks. So at home, I think it's going to be a tough game for both sides. So get a few boys back this week, which is always nice. But yeah, we'll be going for the 3 points. Not going to give away too much in terms of how we're going to play. But yeah, it should be a good game on Saturday.
Looking at the other fixtures, Willowburn up against Redcliffe PCYC, Clairvaux taking on Oxley, Westside, Arden Latrobe, and Narangba at home against North Brisbane. Can you see any upsets in those other games?
Yeah, I think one thing about Cap 2 is the moment you think you're going to win a game, you find yourself on the wrong side of it. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a few shocker results in there. Who the Clairvaux got, sorry?
Clairvaux are at home against Oxley United.
Yeah, I think that could be a good game, actually. Clairvaux, when we played them, they made it really hard for us to get the ball, but Oxley, they're much improved as well. We played them a few weeks ago on the wrong end of that one, but I think I'll probably lean towards Clairvaux on that, but it wouldn't surprise me if Oxley did get a point.
And North Brisbane, are they surprise leaders in this comp?
Yeah, well, I used to be at North Brisbane as a player and then the Resi's coach for a few years. So I was there up until last year. So it did surprise me a bit to see him up there this year. They've done a lot of good recruitment, but Ange, who's the head coach out there, is a fantastic coach. So, Natty's got some really good players and committed players. It's not really a surprise at the end of the day. I think no one probably had them coming first, but, they do have a good setup out there. So I wouldn't say it's the biggest surprise, but it has, I wouldn't have had them as first coming into the year.
All right. Spencer, have you got a question here for Tom? Doesn't sound like it.
Off the hook.
No, sorry, I muted. I had myself muted. So, no, I don't have a question. I think that game this weekend is very interesting. The Springfield Kangaroo Point one. If Kangaroo Point get the points, then it really opens up that league in regards to first to seventh. They close that gap. Springfield took a massive drop. Michael Keating, the coach, has stood down this week. So,
didn't know that.
Yeah. So, look, they've got a fair few injuries at the moment. But look, I think they are in the process now of looking forward to next season and making a real charge for it next season. But I know that they do have aims to win the remaining 6 games of the year.
Most definitely. It's a good attitude to have, even though you've got a few players out. You've just got to deal with what you've got, the 11 that you put on the park, and hope for the best almost at this time of the season with all the injuries that some clubs are encountering.
All right.
But, I was just going to say, my game of the week for this one would also probably be Narangba, North Brisbane. I'm still completely shocked Narangba are where they are. And North Brisbane, have they hit a bit of a lull after dropping the points last week?
Yeah, that'll be a fascinating game. When we played Narangba, they made it difficult for us for periods of the game. Is that game at North Brisbane or Narangba?
No, it's at Narangba. So,
well, yeah, that could make it interesting. I'll go a draw for that one.
All right. Thanks for your time, Tom. You're more than welcome to hang on to the phone and bring us some action of your game. That'd be interesting.
I'll get off. Try to stay warm, go for a run.
Good stuff. Tom Connolly, head coach at KPR. Thank you so much for your time.
Cheers, James.
Cheers. All right. There you go. Well, first, Spencer.
Yeah. First for everything. So I've got my shirt too. So that's a first. First time I'm wearing the shirt in the show tonight. So
yes, wearing his KPR gear. Fantastic. All right. Now, let's move on to the Football Brisbane side of things. We've got Benn Schofield, who's the coach at Centenary Stormers. Ben, you had a big win on the weekend.
Another good result. The boys have been building since I've been there for the last 4 weeks, and it's good to see what's happening on the training fields. Obviously, resulting in some half decent results on the weekend.
So you had a 3-2 win over Brisbane Knights. Tell us about your appointment at the club.
Well, I was the head coach for the previous 6 years, I believe, from Cap 2 all the way up to the Premier League over the last 4 years. And then last year we had a bub in March, and I decided to take a step back and spend a bit of time with the family this year. But unfortunately, the coach that we appointed moved to the Strikers under 23 squad about 4 weeks ago. And obviously, my father being the president, knocked on my door again and put my hand up as a labour of love and put myself back in the hot seat.
Can't say no to your dad, can you?
Not yet.
How's it been getting back into the job? Was it, did it feel like a comfy pair of slippers?
Not really. We had a big squad turnover last year. When I left, unfortunately, a few boys went to MPL, QPL, so obviously you can see progressions through, but a few boys aren't actually even playing football this year. So I think we've got about 2 first-team players from last year in the squad. So not so much comfy slippers, but obviously being back there in the surroundings has been good.
Right. Looking at other fixtures on the weekend, so Bayside had a 3-0 win over St George. Albany Creek kept on their winning ways with a 5-0 win over UQ. Meacock and the Gap had a 2-2 draw, so some important points there for the Gap. And Western Spirit, the big win on the weekend, 5-1 over the Lakes. Spencer, I think pretty sure that one caught your eye.
I said last week I'm going to stop saying bad things about them because they make me look like a dickhead every week. So, look, the signings that they've brought in, I think Schofield here will be a little bit worried that they're starting to hit some form because they're hot on the heels. And I think their next game, looking at this, is actually against Spirit. So that's going to be a massive 6-pointer, particularly for Centenary. I think Spirit can probably not afford to. They can't afford to lose the points. I think Centenary need to get a good 3 points there to definitely open up that gap on them. But that's not until the 3rd of August. I'm not sure if it's a catch-up round this week. Yeah, but Spirit are definitely Spirit on the rise, I think.
We've got Spirit this weekend at Kippen Park. It's the first catch-up, I believe, and then obviously
we've got them twice.
We've got them twice in about
back.
2 weeks.
Back to back. So 12 pointers.
And we've also got the Gap in between there as well. So it's an important couple of weeks for the club. We don't underestimate that. But, even saying that, our results have mirrored theirs. So I don't think that we're not in a bad place. And I think that we're well attuned for this week. And we're going to have a full week on the training paddock. We'll be the last for about 2 or 3 weeks with these catch-up games. But we'll be ready for the weekend.
So just looking at the ladder, you're currently in 10th place on 14 points, but you share that position with Brisbane Knights and Acacia Ridge. So
and UQ are above us. So they've played 2 extra games with the same goal difference and only 2 points as well. So with Western Spirit winning, there's about 6 teams within 3 points. So in that regards, it's probably good that now it's bringing a few more teams into the battle. So there'll be teams taking points off other teams in the next 3 or 4 weeks, which will make it interesting.
Yeah, so the BPL got interesting again, Spencer.
It did. Looks like St. George has fallen to shit since that Mount Gravatt game. Look, it's certainly Mount Gravatt have fallen to shit. It looks like as well. So look, it's a battle. It's a battle at the top for that 4th spot if Mount Gravatt and Toowong can get their act together. But that bottom second last spot, if there is a relegation at the end of this season, is certainly intriguing as well, becoming more and more intriguing. I think we spoke about last week and a few weeks ago as well. UQ have to be careful that they don't get dragged into that. And they're obviously 2 games ahead of the rest of those, as Ben just mentioned as well.
Yes, I did tip UQ to go down at the beginning of the season. And a few weeks ago, UQ were shoving that back in my face. Here we go. Good luck, UQ. Good luck. Prove me wrong. All right. So this weekend is a catch-up round. Is that right, Ben? Did I hear that correctly?
Yes, this is the first catch-up round from my understanding.
Okay,
Yep.
so the fixtures that I ran through in Cat 2 may not necessarily be correct, but having a look at the draw this weekend...
It's a catch-up game for us, so I presume it's a catch-up round for everyone.
Right, okay. Yeah. So looking at, we can only see Meacock up against UQ, the Lakes up against Toowong, and that is it. But you said that you had a game against
Hopefully we have a game
as well. So that will be your catch-up game. All right.
Yeah. Match of the round is Centenary Spirit. I'm calling it.
Definitely. When you're playing a team twice, Ben, how do you approach that? Have you ever done that before? And do you?
Yeah, we did it a couple of years ago actually when we just managed to scrape out of relegation. We played North Pine twice in about 5 days, and we collected 2 wins, and that was actually our first and second win for the year. And then we managed to win the next 3, I think, to escape relegation on the last day. So we've done it before. It doesn't change anything. The big difference is obviously Western Spirit's got a nice big pitch, and Centenary's got a postage stamp. So you probably play a little bit differently, but with the inability of us to get on a training paddock for too much time in between, there won't be too many changes.
Right. It's all about just doing what you do and doing it well.
That's what we've been trying to do for the last month.
With a little bit of success too, I might add. So good stuff. All right, Ben, thank you for that. Now we'll come back to the Brisbane Women's Premier League simply because we don't have a guest from that competition. So we'll move on to the competitions where we do have guests. Let's go to Capital League 1, and we've got Leo Sirianni, head coach at Pine Hills. G'day, Leo.
How are you, Darren?
Good, mate. Good, mate. You had a 5-3 victory over the Bulls on the weekend. Is that correct? Or no?
2 weeks. That was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Here we go. 5-0 over Moggle. You smashed them.
Yeah, listen, we've got a good team. I still think we've got the best team in the competition. And that's why, obviously, there's a target on us to not win the league. And but when we turn up, like I said, I think we've got 6 games left or 5 games left. And, the 3 points, we lost 3 points against Newmarket for not doing the team sheet properly, which I believe, I think a few clubs are struggling with the concept of the online, with a few little glitches apparently, which we are fighting to get those 3 points back. However, if we don't get them back, then it brings the top 4 right in contention, and anyone can win it. So it's funny that no player that was ineligible played. However, Jake Mitchell, who served a 5-week suspension, was on that team sheet, and he didn't play. Where Adam the Day's name should have been there, and Adam's wasn't there, and it was Jake's name there. So we're trying to fight it. Like I said, there was no ineligible player that did play. However, the rules have been brought in place that were changed, I believe, 2 years ago. I spoke to some people from Power who said 2 years ago, I think when Rochdale won the league, they drew with Capella, and Capella had done the same thing where they put a player on the team sheet. Sorry, had to put a team sheet out, and the goalkeeper, I think, wasn't on the team sheet. And it was all brushed away, and the draw was good and nobody lost points. So they brought in some new system that basically made it more, put the onus on managers to make sure that they fill the team sheet correctly. So listen, it is what it is. We can't change it. All we can do is win every game from here on end and give ourselves the best chance of winning the league.
Actually, I can remember a couple of times back when I was working for Football Brisbane, you'd get the team sheet from the refs to assist with the post-production of the game recording, and you'd have a look at the sheet and you'd have a look at the players. You'd just run over to the bench and go, guys, is that correct? Is that correct? Yeah. And then a few halftime changes to make sure that the game went ahead as normal. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's have a look at the weekend's results. So Ripley had a 2-0 win over North Pine. Massive result that. Newmarket kept on their winning ways with a 2-1 away win at Connolly. We've mentioned Pine Hills. New Farm 3-0 over Slacks Creek, and the Ipswich City and Carina had a 1-1 draw. This ladder, Leo,
Yeah, so if you look like the football 24 ladders doesn't show that it shows that we're on top, but that's not the right one. I think the one you're looking at would show Newmarket on 34, I think.
Yes, and you're on 28, having played a game extra.
Yeah. So according to the Logan coach, if Pine Hills win every game, that's doing Logan a favour and they're going to win the league. So he's pretty confident that they'll get past Newmarket. Obviously, that 3 points we lost is huge in the concept of it all. I mean, Newmarket has still got to play all the top 4 sides. I think we've got to play. We've still got to play 3 of them. So we've got to play Newmarket, North Pine, and Ripley. And Ripley have had an amazing. They're the team to beat. I think in the second round. I think North Pine will probably lose more points. Newmarket have just got that thing where I think winning's a habit. And Josh has done a great job in his first year there. So, mate, it's up for anyone. I couldn't tell you who's going to win it. I'd like to say that we'll be there. We'll be thereabouts. But like I said, if we're too far away with the 3 points we lost, well, then so be it. But I said to the boys a few weeks ago, I think second's definitely up for definitely ours if we want it. But first might be a little bit tough losing those 3 points.
And have you got a catch-up game this weekend?
No, we're playing. We were meant to play on Sunday. I think isn't it just the washout round from 3 or 4 weeks ago? So we're playing. we play Connolly tomorrow night.
Right.
At Connolly. I know Logan are playing tonight against Newmarket. So I think there was only
1-0 up.
What's the score there, Spence?
1-0 up at halftime, Metro.
Metro, yeah.
There you go.
So that's why I probably have to change the subject because I came on here to give it to you and Spencer. It was 3 or 4 weeks ago. There was a comment made about payments of players and that Fine Hills are cashed up. Yeah, I think Darren threw a few little messages in there too. And I think the thing I wanted to get clear here is it's upsetting for me. We can all joke about it, but I've gone to a club that 2 years ago we had 440 members with no budget really whatsoever. COVID then hit, and and there was only a handful of players that were going to take money. But that handful of players, when COVID hit, the committee said, listen, if we pay out, we'll probably be in the red. And all the players agreed not to take $1 last year. So to have the year we had last year and build on, because the club wants to rebuild, to have a look at our second year now that I've been there, we're at 740 or 50 members. Yes, I do have a budget. The other thing is part of that budget is my coaching wage. So I think I'll probably get a little bit upset and a bit defensive when I think Ben would know to get players and to get good players. It's not just simple come and play for us. I like to think I build a good culture wherever I go and coach. And a lot of players do come for nothing. There are a few that do get paid. But again, if I pay them or I don't pay them, that's up to if the club structure is right and we've got a financial backing there, then great. But we go play teams that say, oh, you're paying $350 and $400 a game, which is just bollocks. And, it's laughable, but obviously I know how much work I do. I know how much work my committee do. And to get the club, like I said, it's not just me, it's my committee, our junior TD that's got our club from 440 members to 750 members in the space of a year. And we're looking to go to 900 next year. So,
I think in regards to paying players, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think at the end of the day, you could be paying your players that you've still got to implement a game plan to go out there and implement, and basically so they can action it. And obviously they're doing that. As you said, you don't think there's any secret, or there's no secret out that you are paying players like Kai Barnes, whether Gipio's on anything. That's whatever. He was obviously in a good culture at Metro. It was just kind of an eye opener when he left them. But players like Kai Barnes and Dan Abbey and all that have obviously come from arguably a decent salary. But as I said, it's all well and good paying players, but I know it's not questioning you as a coach or your ability. You're basically setting a game plan. You're getting consistent results. It's a credit to you as well.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, there was big questions asked with Parky and Abbey that came over. Listen, I was one that I fell over when Parky texted me to say I'm leaving Logan, because if you look at his social media, he's a Logan through and through, and he drives the boys. And you know, like I said to him, if you come, I said, I don't have a budget. I said, we've paid our players that we can. So if you come, it's to play in a good team and hopefully win some silverware. And the same thing was said to Dan Abbey. If you come, I said, there's no dollars. And to credit to Dan, he knew he had to come and work himself into the team. So he wasn't given a spot. And over the last 4 weeks, the bloke comes he drives 45 minutes every or Tuesday, Thursday to come to training, and he'd come for nothing, you know?
And again, that's a testament to yourself and a culture that you've set, as you mentioned. So if they're traveling that far 2 nights a week for training and then rocking up on the game and you're getting the results, then I guess it's a testament to you. As I said, It was just obviously tongue in cheek.
100%. I'm passionate about what I do. Obviously, I'm passionate at the club I'm at. I'm passionate at the backing that, you know, there's a lot of people at our club who are volunteers that don't get anything for what they do. You know, and it's good to see. You know, I remember when 10 years ago, before I went to Mitchelton, Pine Hills were at 1,000 members plus, and they were in the BPL. And that's where we want to head back to. And slowly we'll get there. So yeah, I just wanted to clear that up with Mr. Lutton and Spencer finally meeting you. Like I said, you asked me a question, I'll tell you the truth. And yeah, players do get paid, not all of them. And the boys are all aware of that. But, you know, hopefully we're in a position next year where, you know, we can give a little bit to everybody. And it's not big bucks, but it's a little bit, you know, this helps.
Yep.
Speaking of big bucks, let's move our attentions now to Capital League 3. And we've got Kevin Meacock with us. He's the head coach at Tarragindi Tigers. G'day, Kevin.
Great introduction, big bucks. Like that. Yeah, hey, how's it going?
Good, mate. You've shown up on a couple of occasions as there's been a little bit of noise as you've been walking around. So I'm sure people are wondering, who's this guy? Who's this guy? But it's Kevin, mate. Great to have you with us. Tarragindi Tigers, top of the table. Tell us about your season so far.
Okay, well, I mean, our season really started last season with an end of season that sort of got us on the right track. Well, we hadn't been on the right track for a little while, but at the end of last season, we started to find a system that worked for us and find the players that could work within that system really well. So then during pre-season this year, we ended up signing a few lads who just turned up out of the blue, but were players that really fit into what we wanted to be doing. A guy by the name of Mickey Thomas, for example. You know, Mickey Thomas, good player, and fits into what we want to do really well. And yeah, and we've continued with it really. We sort of build on it, and got stronger. And with a really good pre-season, we played a bunch of teams in Cap 2 and Cap 1 in pre-season, and we're strong against those sides. So we thought that we would end up going well in Cap 3 this year.
All right.
So far things are going well, and you know, not that far to go now. If we can keep it going the way we are, then we're pretty confident that we can get ourselves promoted.
Yeah, it's been an interesting. I actually went to a game on the weekend, and it was 10 minutes of Teviot Downs against Park Ridge before I had to go. But Teviot Downs get their first win of the season.
Really? Wow, good on them. Well done. Because look, I've been there. It's a difficult thing to do to wait so long for a win. So well done to them for improving.
It was against local rivals, Park Ridge, 4-0 as well. So
wow,
yeah. So look, I've been saying the last 2 weeks, Park Ridge look like they're on the way down, but after a solid start to the season, which was surprising. But yeah, it's a good result for Teviot.
Since they got a decent result against us, Park Ridge, I don't think they've got a result after that.
Yeah.
They played quite well against us, got a result, and then since then they've gone down. So I don't know what's happened there, but yeah, they're definitely on the decline at the moment.
Yeah.
And there are a bunch of teams that are looking a lot better. There are a bunch of teams that have improved. For example, the team we played on the weekend,
Village.
You know, they're definitely a team that's quite a lot better than they were when we played them at the beginning of the season.
Yeah,
And,
they were the ones that everyone was talking about at the start of the season with the signings they made. They were the ones that were gonna top the table and walk the league. But yeah, they had a rocky start to the season. I did say a few. Yeah.
We played them here, and they weren't that impressive when we played them here. We, I think we got quite an easy win against them in the first round. But I think they've signed a few players, and they look like quite a strong team. And I think anybody that goes and plays them is going to really have quite a tough game, and I think they will get some results, and they'll be pushing for top 4, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kevin, you've coached in the Brisbane Premier League when it was probably the premier competition in the state.
Yeah.
Now you're doing Cap 3. What's it like for you? Is it just coaching players? That's your drive?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, came to Tarragindi with no idea about capital football, really. I had no idea because I'd never played in it. I'd never watched it. I'd never been involved in it at all. So it was interesting for me to see the type of players that play in it. And it, to be fair, it's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. The quality of a lot of the players was a lot higher than I thought it was going to be. And the type of football that the teams try and play. I mean, I think that's general anyway throughout football now, that everyone tries to move the ball and tries to move the ball quickly and shift it around the pitch and, try and create overloads to in attack and do interesting things. But I was a little bit surprised with capital football, the quality of some of the players and some of the teams. And, being at Tarragindi, again, I had no idea what Tarragindi was as a club when I came in the first place. And when they asked me, I thought, I wouldn't mind being involved with the community club. I'd like to get involved with the whole club and see how that club's run. And I find out that there are a lot of people here that just love the game and are trying to build something great for the community that play here, and build a team that people can enjoy watching. So for that reason, I really enjoy it. And as well as that, the fact that the players here have great attitudes. There's nobody here with an ego. Really, everybody plays for the club. Everybody enjoys playing with each other and for each other, and so that makes it enjoyable for me.
They've actually got the facilities now that would match your ambition.
Yeah, well, it was a little bit surprising when we used to be able to get changed on the side of the field, under a bit of an awning. But the club has really, they've really done well to build the facilities that they've got. And it's made a massive difference. We're really enjoying it. It's a nice place to watch the game from now. And, change rooms are great, and it makes a difference. Definitely it definitely means people are more inclined to want to come and play for us.
Now, you're currently in a ding-dong battle with Brighton over top place in this league. What have Tarragindi got that's going to ensure that you stay on top?
Well, I think that we've got consistency. So, every game we play is very similar. And even though we played Brighton 2 weeks ago, and obviously we got a great result there, scoring 7 goals against them. They're a decent side, right? And I don't think our performance was any different against Logan on the weekend. We got a 2-2 draw, and our performance wasn't really any different. The difference was that we didn't take the chances that we created, and we probably should have had 3 or 4 in the first half against Logan, whereas against Brighton, every opportunity that we had, we put in the back of the net. So, that's the difference. But I think that we're a really consistent side. We play in a very similar way every week, get the same performances from the players every week. I'm pretty certain about the way players are going to perform. And rarely did the players drop below, a 7 out of 10. And when we play really well, we've got a lot of 8s and 9s out of 10. So, consistency is the reason why we'll stay on top.
Looking at this weekend's fixtures, we've got Jimboomba up against Bethania, Ridge Hills taking on Deception Bay.
No. You're looking at the weekend just gone. Jimboomba got the win.
Have I
Jim
got it
Boomber
wrong again?
Yeah, no, blame Football Queensland. Football Jim Boomber did Bethania 2-1. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Ridge Hills got the result against Deception Bay. Pine Rivers, I believe, did Brighton. I think I read that somewhere.
Yes, that's true. I remember that.
Two all draw between Tarragindi and Village, and Teviot won 4-0.
All right, wow. Kevin, do you have a game this weekend?
Yeah, so we're playing Deception Bay,
right,
away on Saturday, and I mean, looking at those results and those, it's an interesting league.
Yeah, so I think Jim Boomber are on the rise. I think Jim Boomber are going to have a solid second half to the season. They've got Teviot this week, so that'll be interesting. But I think Jim Boomber will be. I think Brighton, on the back of 2 results, will possibly maybe go on a poor run now, and I think Jim Boomber will be the ones challenging for that first spot.
Wow, I don't think so, but I think Brighton is still a really good side, and I think they'll get it together. And I'm really surprised at Jim Boomber because we went to Jim Boomber and we won 4-0, and it was very comfortable for us.
I do believe that they did get a fair few players back, so they have strengthened, I think, as the season's progressed as well. So I think that's where their rise has sort of come along as well. But it'll be an interesting game when you get them the second time round, I think.
It will be. Yeah, it'll be. I think there's going to be a lot of interesting games in the second round, and the teams at the bottom half of the table seem to have all really improved. So it's going to be a really good end of the season. It's going to be good. Looking forward to it.
All right, so I've got the correct fixtures up now. Brighton up against Bethania, Jim Boomber up against Teviot Downs, D-Bay hosting Tarragindi, Ridge Hills, Pine Rivers, and Logan Village up against Park Ridge. All right. Now, let's have a quick look at the Brisbane Women's Premier League. Now, of course, as I said before at the beginning of the show, we've got no guests, which is why we've gone through all the men's comps before we go to the women. And here we go. So some big results on the weekend. We had Broadbeach having a 2-0 win over Kangaroo Point Rovers. Rabina racked up 10 against the Lakes, 10-2. UQ had a 1-0 win over Carina, and Annalee 2-0 over Grange Thistle. Looking at the ladder, Broadbeach, 41 points. After 15 games, they are way out there. Carina, second on 23. Now, Carina have lost another player this week to the NPL. That's Vicky Lyons. So going to be interesting to see if Carina can hold it together for the remainder of the season. Kangaroo Point Rovers in third on 22, along with UQFC. So there is a battle for the fourth place. Annalee are in sixth on 20. Kangaroo Point in third on 22 with Carina on 23. So a couple of weeks, anything could happen there. Let's have a look at this weekend's fixtures, see if there are any. See if I get it right. No, nothing there. Let's go to round 13. Anything there? Nothing there. I don't know. It's probably a catch-up round. Probably going to be some catch-up games. You know your club. You know what they do. Have a look at it. Have a look at your Facebook pages and all that sort of stuff. I'm really professional at this stuff, Spencer.
And sort it out, Football Queensland.
Actually, now that's what I wanted to finish the show on. Of course, we've had the regime change that Football Brisbane no more. Football Queensland, have taken over the competition. Coaches out there, did you notice any changes on the weekend? Was anything different?
Yeah, we got good referees for once. We got referees. I'll be honest. We had 3 officials that normally ref in the FQ out at Moggle, because there was a memo that went out that maybe some referees would, some games wouldn't go ahead due to availability of referees. And yeah, no, it was brilliant. So I don't know what's going on with the shit show, but as far as the weekend, the refereeing, that's the one big notice. We had FQ referees, and they were brilliant. So,
all right. Any of the other guys, if you're still there?
Yeah, well, we got filmed and live streamed, so it didn't cost me $15 to buy the game from Football Brisbane.
So yes, there'll be no more highlights packages that Football Brisbane put together. It's the live streams now. So yes, be changes there. What about you, Kevin? Did you notice anything?
I think he's gone.
Maybe he has. It's just the four of us left.
So who are you working for now, Darren?
I work for SEQFC, mate. That's it. That's all I've been for the past 2 years.
So what's the name of the new show now? Is it the SEQFQ Cap 213? What are you calling it?
I think we'll just stick with the show formerly known as the Football Brisbane Village Law SEQFC Preview Show. We'll keep it at that. Nice and short and sweet. All right, Spencer, do we have anything else to bring up?
No, I'm good.
That's our breakfast. All right. Good stuff. Leo and Ben, thank you so much for your time this evening.
Thank you.
No worries.
Actually, Ben, I might just finish with you. Your competition this season. We've talked about the bottom of the league being really tight with all those clubs battling for survival. What about at the top? What would you say is the quality difference between where you are in the ladder and the top?
$70,000.
Well, the budgets are nice. Yeah. I wanted to pipe up when Leo was talking about budgets because I haven't seen one in 6 years. Look, there's an obviously different quality at the top, especially with Albany Creek. They kind of, they run away with the league for the last 3 or 4 years. They've got a lovely structure up there. They got, facilities up there, which is second to none. And obviously doesn't hurt to have a little bit of a budget behind you. And then obviously, St. George, very, very similar. When you can create, a good environment and you can have a little bit of a budget behind you to get the quality that you've got. Once you get good cattle on the field and they train well, then obviously the results kind of flow. For us, as I said, this year's been a comp of the top four. I don't think it will change. I don't know about the Lakes, and to be honest, I haven't looked past our fixtures for the next 2 to 3 weeks. So we play a couple of sides in the top four for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I'll worry about them then. So I wouldn't be able to tell you about the quality of them at the moment, but obviously the quality speaks with their results, and that's where they are. But it is looking like a competition of a 4, 2, and 6. You know what I mean? And the more results that we can get that are positive for us and climb up towards that middle table, then the happier I'll be.
So when you're taking on those top four, do you hire a bus every week?
It's a long drive, especially, we've got the Lakes this year as well, so it's even a longer drive.
As in the bus to put in front of your goals?
Oh, bus to put in front of the goals. No, that's not how we play. Obviously, we make sure our defensive structure is as good as it can be, considering, we might play a little bit differently from week in to week out. But no, we definitely don't sit with a 5-5-0. We'll play it the way that we're good at playing, and we won't change that. Maybe that's why I haven't won against the top teams.
What's your advice there for Ben, Leo?
Mate, listen, Ben's a good coach, and you can see the results over the last couple. He'll get his team up and going. I mean, obviously, to come in halfway through a season when a team's not doing so well, to turn it around quickly, which I believe he's done already. He was a smart footballer when he played. That's what makes him a good coach. And I'm sure he's a smart man. He'll know what to do, and he'll have a good 6 weeks to go, mate. I'm pretty sure you'll definitely avoid your relegation. You won't be. Are you in the relegation battle now?
We're always in a relegation battle, mate.
Yeah, I think you'll be all right, mate. Like I said, it's good to see you back in the game. You're a smart footballer.
It's the nicest thing you've ever said, Leo.
Mate, I tell you, I used to like watching you play up front. For Lions back in the day.
Yeah,
but it's good to see a smart player come back and coach. And that's what your club needs. I mean, obviously, there's a soft spot at Centenary for you. With your family, obviously, background being there, but it's good to see you go back and help out the club that you love.
Thanks, bud. Good luck for the year.
Cheers. Leo, we'll see you next year.
Where are you going to see me next year?
No, you'll see him in BPL or whatever it is next year.
You know what? Last year we got promoted, and so did eight other teams. So I don't know what's going to happen next year. I mean, this is the other thing too. What are we playing for this year? Like, where's everyone going to end up? I mean, I said it 6-8 weeks ago when I was on the show with Darren, and no offense to Benny, but the BPL league, like what is that league at the moment? It's a one-team runaway. You look at the Connolly Cup, if that goes ahead, there's only one BPL team left in it, and that's been for the last two rounds. I think it's a Capital One comp with one BPL team. Like, how are they going to restructure this? what the BPL teams are they going to go to the next QPL level, and the Cap 1 teams down a tier?
You could probably take 3, 4, 5 of the Cap 1 sides and swap them with 3, 4, 5 of the BPL sides.
Will they do that, or is it just a pecking?
No. That's just what I'm saying. Like this season, in terms of quality, you could do that, and I think you'd have a much more competitive BPL.
Exactly.
There's no joke that I think the FQPL2 took away a lot of the talent that was in the BPL last year. Like we had a big turnover. We finished 5th last year, you know what I mean? And we had a turnover, of players there. And then obviously the comp, some of the Cap 1 teams jumped into QPL2, and the results kind of speaks for themselves there. So I think, unfortunately, at the moment, the comp is just way too saturated, and there's just too many teams probably, playing with sometimes 10, 11 reserves players because they just don't have the squads because there's just too many things going on at the moment. Once it all gets sorted at the top, hopefully it's for the better of not just them, but the league, the players, which is the important thing.
There we go. All right, we might leave it there, guys. We've got an FQ show to put together.
Just while we're quickly here, Newmarket are down to 10 men, but they've just equalised and made it 1-1.
So I want a 1-1 draw, or Newmarket to win would be. I'd take that one.
All right, thanks for the update. So this is the show formerly known as the Football Brisbane Village Law SEQFC preview show. Thank you to our guests tonight. Been great having you on board, and we will see you all next week.